and going through the moments of excitement that we've shared together. There were so many, but there was one that just hit me like right smack in the I am statement.
I am excited.
I am.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Joe, Dr. Energy Piazza.
RaRa is in the house. Kathryn Asaro Myers.
Welcome back to BU Network Podcast, Conversations Worth Having. On our podcast, you can expect three things. 1, the BU guest moment. 2, the BU moment. And 3, the BU final moment.
As promised, we are giving you a very special audible on each show. Your job, well, not your job, it's to find it. You know the game Where's Waldo? Well, here we will ask you to listen for that audible. Dr. Energy, now is a really good time to speak about our authenticity and where we are and what we're doing and the moment that we're in. So I would like to ask you, where are you right now? What are you wearing and what are you doing?
So, what am I wearing? And that always comes out better when you ask that question than when I do. I don't know, it's one of those things. So, as usual, I'm here in my office / recording studio here in Ottawa, and tonight I'm really super casual. I'm wearing a pair of like yoga pants and a white t-shirt, and just hanging out. As I mentioned later on in the episode, I had spent some time this weekend with Dr. Tony, who I practice with, and sharing our vision and our mission with a communication and marketing expert who's going to help us share that mission more with our practice and with our community. And so, when I got home this afternoon from that meeting, I was just wanted to enjoy that energy, sort of, I don't know, bathe in it, just let myself integrate the experience and the excitement of what it's going to mean for our community to be able to share our message more fully. And so I'm standing here, I'm surrounded by the stuff that I get excited about. There's reminders of that 2013 Send Out Cards convention. There's memories of other events you and I have been at together. There's beautiful artwork around me that inspires me and gets me excited. So that's where I am tonight and today. How about yourself?
Thank you for sharing. Well, I am in my bridge room, as you know. This is where I record from. I am standing up because this is how I like my voice to be projected and how I like to speak whether it's a Zoom call or a recording, I like to be standing.
It really changes your voice, doesn't it?
It does, yes, because when you're sitting down, you're kind of squishing your knees. So to be very scientific. I'm also looking at something that when I came to your studio the other day and I saw that you had a little card that I think it said "Be Happy."
I'm holding it in my hands. It says "Happy Day."
Yes. Happy Day. And I'm holding one that says "Live Inspired." And it says "The beginning is always today" by Mary Shelley. What does yours say?
Mine says, "You make the world a happier place."
Yes. And that, I believe, came in one of the cards that I sent you, correct?
That is correct.
Yes, awesome. So I'm looking at this it's a little card that flips open. And I have my nifty 7.5 pound dumbbell that I am...
Wait, whoa.
Yes.
It's supposed to be a 10 pounder.
Yes, because when I asked my magnificent husband to go into the storage to get that, he has to bring this with him and go and do that. So... he's like, I'm down there, but I didn't. So, yeah. So this is, I'm not blaming him. I have to go and bring it. Maybe I should put the dumbbell by the front door. And that way he won't go down there and say, yeah, what was I getting? So that's still with my 7.5 dumbbell. I am with a wonderful frankincense infusing oil, which I loved when we were in the studio. We did patchouli and frankincense. So I have frankincense going on. I am looking at some pretty lights. So it's pretty much Christmas holiday lights that are set up in the building that we're at. So I'm looking right out at the front garden. So we have some big fir trees. So it looks like it's all white lights, Christmas trees. And then we have some other trees where they have the base of the tree and the branches are filled with white lights. It's really pretty. So it's very festive with just plain white lights, which is great. And I am wearing Sweet Legs, which is a friend of mine sells these pants called Sweet Legs, and they're like wonderful, crazy, wonderful designs.
Nice.
So I wanted to put those on because I just came back from a really hard Pilates class. You know, I am one of these diehards that if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I think I missed 2 days in 49 or 50 days.
Right. And only because you were here in Ottawa.
That's right. That's because I went to Ottawa. And the day I came, I went to a class, by the way. So the day I got in the car, I made sure I went to a class, and then we came back and I went to a class today because there were 2 days that I couldn't. So it was really a hard class. So I have that on, and I wanted to get dressed up sort of tonight. So my favorite color is, black, crazy black and blue and white pants and a black top. And nice. in this bridge room, I really get to feel the energy of, you were here in this room with me, of all of my clients and my friends. And I have a term for the people in my business called ambassadors, and the gifts that they have given me. And I'm surrounded by books, and I'm surrounded by beautiful images and artwork as well. So my BU moment is I'm right here in the bridge room, surrounded by wonderful, positive energy that is very exciting. And you?
Awesome. And I think that is a great place to jump into our discussion this evening on excitement. Are you excited?
Thank you. I am excited. Thank you.
Cool.
Yes, I'm ready.
Excellent. I'm excited to see you on the other side.
Thank you. This is the most exciting moment of my day and my night tonight. I cannot wait to roll up our sleeves and bring back the fantastic, exciting moments that we have together, Dr. Energy.
I know. I've been looking forward to this one all day. This is, our 12th podcast episode, the 12th in our series of emotions. And basically, it's going to bring one whole season of podcasts to a close. And then we get to start another one. Like, how exciting is that?
It is. And this is a great way for us to close this season and have our next season, which is already on the go.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to share with you that in going through the moments of excitement that we've shared together, there were so many, but there was one that just hit me like right smack in the I am statement.
I am excited.
I am excited about the moment that I would like us to share and go through. Let's see if we can walk through it for our audience, because the authentic us will take our audience right through that. You agree?
Sure. I'm not sure exactly what moment we're going to talk about, but I'll do my best. Yeah, set it up.
I'll set it up. Okay. So I'll start with the year.
Okay.
It was 2013.
Okay. I think I know where this is going, but let's let it play out. Okay.
And I'll start with a highlight at being 30,000 feet up.
Okay.
And we are crossing international borders.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to my homeland of the United States of America.
Right.
And not only were we 30,000 feet up, going at a very fast speed, we didn't know what we were actually getting into.
That's for sure. But we were certainly excited about it.
We were, because we're very much into what we're doing, and we were right there. And throughout that excitement of being and doing, we then get smacked with my I am statement and the moment that I envisioned for you to be doing something. And there we were amongst other friends with so many people right there living a moment that I will never forget.
That was a fun trip for sure.
wasn't it?
It was.
So for our audience, we were in a plane. What? I don't know which aircraft we were in. You probably know that detail.
I couldn't. No. That's 6 years ago. I can't remember that. I can't remember 6 minutes ago.
Okay. I always research.
That's not true. That's not true. But it was probably, I don't know. Yeah, we were probably flying one of the major airlines or something, but I don't remember which one.
Yes. And I usually research the aircraft before I get on it when I book it.
Oh, see, I didn't know that about you.
Oh, I have to research the aircraft. Well, I have a whole thing to my research process. So I need to know what the aircraft looks like. I need to know where the seating is before I choose the aircraft. And sometimes there's absolutely nothing I can do about it because I'm choosing that airline and that's the time I want to go. But I need to do that beforehand. So yes, so I probably do know that, but at this moment don't have it in my memory bank. But what I really am excited about is this event that happened that we both got surprised. Like we were both... all of us were surprised. I mean, even our previous guest, Lori, was there. Like we talk about this in our memory.
Yeah, with Lori being there, that was actually the start of another business and another project. So
absolutely. That's where I met Lori. That's the exciting moment about that moment. And you and I shared this. And that sparked, actually, that was the beginning of us going into another level.
For sure. I remember that. Yeah, I totally remember that event. It was the Send Out Cards convention. And as it turns out, you and Lori ended up on stage together winning the Gratitude Award, voted on by all of the international distributors in the company, or as we call them now, affiliates.
Yes, it actually was the Salt Lake City. I'm looking at it right now. It was it was actually the Gratitude Convention.
It was the Gratitude Convention, exactly.
Which is amazing that was the name of the convention.
It was so cool. And you were so adamant that I was going to be sitting in the front row with you while the convention was going on. And sure enough, there we are in the front row and your name got announced as a winner of the Gratitude Award. And so I was taking some pictures and everything. And then all of a sudden, Cody Bateman announces that there's co-winners of the Gratitude Award. And that's when he announced Lori.
Yes. And just to back it up a little bit, there was only one seat in the front row to the left. And I sat about 5 rows back. I didn't want you not to sit in the front.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's okay.
I told you I couldn't remember it 6 years ago.
I wanted you to sit in the front. And there was only one seat. And I thought, no, you have to sit there. And I sat back a little bit. I still could see you. And I was excited for you. And then I didn't really know that I would be that excited for me.
For you.
My knees were shaking. I could barely stand when Cody mentioned my name because, like you said, we were chosen from all over 150 or 80,000 distributors now called affiliates in the company. That was amazing. And then when Lori was announced, there was a tie for the first time ever, and there has never since been. And I met Lori on stage. So you actually, you saw, I guess you probably figured I wasn't like walking up there so swiftly because I was thinking, how am I going to get up there?
That, and it was one of the few times I saw you speechless for a moment.
For a moment, I thought.
It was only a moment, but it was there.
I had envisioned this, Dr. Energy. I had envisioned this. I wrote this in my I am statement. I wrote it over and over again. So from 2009, that's how long it took me to manifest that. So it was 4 years, 5 years?
4 years.
4 years. It took me 4 years to manifest that moment. And I wrote that moment down. And there it was. And I thought, yes, that's that. This is it. And as we speak, I'm looking at one of the I am tennis balls that I caught from Cody. So that's why when I said I am, it's right in front of me.
Yeah. And now do you remember the specific I am statement that led to this?
I am standing on stage with Cody Bateman.
Beautiful. See, look at that. No hesitation.
Yeah, well, that's my one of my mantras. And also when we recently had Cody Bateman here in Toronto, and Cody had asked a question and said, I raised my hand and I said, why are you throwing the tennis balls? That was my question. And he said, come up here. And I thought, and there it is again. Yep. Don't give up. The statement is not done just because it happened once.
Right.
And he said, I know what you want to do, because Cody knows my I am statement. It's very clear. I am on stage with Cody Bateman. And that was amazing that it happened yet again in 2019. And you were there the second time it happened.
Yep. It has certainly been I won't say, to quote a particular song, a long, strange trip. It's actually been a relatively short, fun trip so far.
Hasn't it?
You know, I'd never been to Salt Lake City, to Utah before. I'd always wanted to go because there's amazing alpine skiing there. As most people know, I'm an alpine skier enthusiast for many, many years. And although I still haven't gotten to ski there, having been to Salt Lake City and flying over the mountains into Salt Lake City, absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend a visit.
It is beautiful. And remember when we went to the VIP event, the black tie event? Mm-hmm. We went to Lakai,
the vineyard. Yeah, with all the peacocks out front, and they treated us so well there. The Send Out Cards company, Cody Bateman, just has he's such an amazing, giving person. I don't know how you couldn't be excited to meet with him, to be with him, to be at one of his events.
And now do you realize, maybe at this moment, I'm sure you realized it before, but at this moment I get to share with you. Mm-hmm. When I first asked you, would you like to come to convention? And you said yes.
Yep.
I was, are you sure you're coming? Like the excitement I had, because I knew I didn't know that I was going to win that award with Lori, but I knew what you were in for. When you said yes, I almost, I took you for your word, but I couldn't believe it. Like yes, you're coming. You're going to come. And when I was able to bring a guest to the VIP event, and I had heard what that was like. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this is going to be amazing for us to experience it. And it was one wonderful moment after the next. And think of the people that we met, that we became friends with over the years.
It's absolutely incredible. It was such an exciting time, and has led to so many opportunities. It led to the birth of BU Network around that time as well. Although we didn't call it BU Network back then, but it has just continued. It was an event that is an excitement level that has continued to ripple forward through time.
Yes, and for our audience who's listening, we actually rebranded our original company to BU Network. So we have been at this for a while. And when we decided to rebrand, I don't know what other people do when they rebrand, but we thought about it. We tried it. We tested it. We made sure. So when we came out with BU, it was a new name, but it wasn't new to us. Right. And we came back that much stronger with another level of excitement. Right. And that's another moment for us, rebranding and coming out and up with BU. Actually, I was in Salt Lake City.
Yes, you were.
Again, let's tell that story.
So that was really funny. You were in Salt Lake City again at another convention, Send Out Cards. I wasn't able to be there this time. However, we were texting back and forth, and we were talking about, because we had already relaunched, but we were struggling to come up with a name and a direction, a little bit of a direction for what we were doing. And all of a sudden, as we were texting back and forth, and there was some of the convention was available online. So I was watching it here at the same time as you were there watching it live. So I got to share in the excitement of that. And basically within the 3 days that you were there in Salt Lake City, that's when I created the website and helped created a lot of the content, obviously with your input as well. And boom, there we go. And we decided we needed a podcast. So we recorded one right away. And here we are now 3-4 months later, and we're almost finished 12 episodes of podcast.
Right, and into our second season. And I don't know if you remember this detail. So we had already created our first platform for BU. Mm-hmm. And then we got on the phone and we were going back and forth about how we would present BU Network. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, you bought that. Well, or you bought it, or I bought it.
I bought it. Yeah,
You bought it, right? I was on right. So we were on the phone, and we were researching names, and as soon as it was instantaneous. Yep. You know when something is right. Our excitement level was, that's it. That's available. Grab it. Yep. And we did that, and basically we went from the platform that we had to BU Network and built it out in a conversation.
Exactly. And it's amazing how that focused energy of excitement, being able to take that and guide it or channel it into something, into a project, rather than, hey, we're excited and we talk about it and nothing happens. We actually took the action and created something. And what we're doing with BU Network, I think the name is a more a fuller embodiment of what we wanted to achieve, the legacy that we want to create in the world, the impact that we want to have, versus what we had before, the platform that we had previous. Because this is a BU, it has a bigger vision, I think, than our previous platform of helping people, guiding people, but more so empowering people to be who they are, to be you.
Absolutely. And we took that step with the open mind that there was room for something else. And when we acted on that, I don't remember, it was like late at night too, right? I was ahead, or what was I?
You were actually behind, a couple hours behind, because you're Mountain Time. Yeah.
And I think
West Coast.
I was Mountain Time.
Mountain Time, yeah.
I was like 10 or 11 or something.
Yeah, it was 1 o'clock here.
Right. You were up 1 o'clock in the morning. And I remember it because we rented that house, and I had the master bedroom upstairs, and off the master bedroom there was a study, and there was this amazing reclining chair. And I remember, I want to buy that chair for our house because that chair gave me the opportunity to sit in it, put my feet up. I had my phone, I had my headset in, and it was such a great energy that everything, when you go somewhere and you want to enjoy it, like you're at a museum, you're focusing. To me, that was us taking a tour at the museum. I wanted to truly focus on what we needed to do. We set the time to work. We set the time to get something done. And I wanted to make sure that there was no distractions.
Right.
And we both, you as well, I mean, we both put that energy into it and walked away with done. Done in the beginning, meaning
exactly
mission accomplished. And that's another level of excitement. I guess Salt Lake City does that.
It seems to have had that effect for us, doesn't it?
It does. We're going to hopefully have this effect when we go to Texas.
Next year. Yep.
Am I going to say Houston? Yes.
Houston, I believe, yes.
Right. So when we go to Houston, let's see if Houston could do the same thing for us. Because
they say that everything's bigger in Texas. So
well, then we're going to prove that. So what will we come back with once we're there?
I don't know, but it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it is. Like we said in one of the previous podcasts, how we plan on working from the beach. Does Houston have any beaches?
It's not far from the beach.
Then why don't we go and live that dream and record that moment, since we said we want to record from the beach, and let's go do that.
Yeah, we might have to rent a car and drive there, but I think we could probably manage that.
Just for the sake of authenticity in the show? Yeah, we'll have plenty of time.
It's something, that we said we want to do, and we do. If nothing else, we tend to do what we say we're going to do.
Yes, we do. We hold each other accountable.
Exactly. And I think that's a big part of the excitement, the ability to carry through in the activity, because sometimes, we launch something with excitement, and then we get a little ways into it and that excitement is no longer there. But it's the ability to continue the work.
Yes.
And towards the vision that you have that re-energizes the excitement. So it's like the excitement starts it, then, the attention can wane a little bit sometimes. And then all of a sudden, but when we stay connected or reconnected to the vision of the why that we started it in the first place, then that gets us excited again, and it re-energizes the cycle. So it's kind of like the perseverance, right? Is to continue taking the action when the emotional state you're in, when you made the commitment, is no longer there, because emotional states don't last very long.
Right, but we create or recreate the force around us. When I came to your studio, I saw the things that you have surrounded that you're surrounded by. And when I'm in my bridge room, I surround myself with similar things.
Right.
I love that you have our BU card, and I have our BU card, and I have the I Am tennis ball and moments that, and the award when we shared that together. And I have things that brought our story together. And when we relive and we tell the story, like right now, as we are sharing this story, the level of excitement that we have, the effect that it's having on me as if I'm right in the moment again.
Yeah.
And our audience, I'm certain, are feeling this. And perhaps it will take you, our audience, to a moment in your life of excitement and positive emotional connection. And this will lift you up because it lifts us up.
Yes.
Correct?
Absolutely. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Besides the send out cards, conventions, and our BU network, let's take a little step back from the business and the podcast. And what else gets you excited in your life?
Getting married. I didn't even let you finish the sentence.
Okay, I didn't even finish the sentence. And for our listeners, I know that RaRa has a story around getting married, and I'm going to let her tell it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see if I can tell it in a
Can you get it right in the right chronological order? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh yeah, sure, I can. Okay, so I am married 5 times. 3 times to the same man. So if you're wondering, how does that work? Here's how it looks. I guess you would say I married my high school sweetheart. That would be the first best way for me to say it, although I do make other reference in other podcasts about that. But let's just say that was my high school sweetheart. And then the next man that I met and fell in love with was my husband, and knew that that was it for life. Right. And we got married. I met him when I was 28, and we got married. And 2 years after we got married, I converted to the Jewish faith, and I got married again. We got married again. So that was a marriage. It was a religious ceremony.
Right.
And well, then the exciting part was not this. Then we were separated and divorced for 16 and a half years. And then I like to explain my next marriage as a business arrangement, because it was a marriage and it was a divorce. So it was a business arrangement. And then my husband and I got back together, and I always considered myself his wife, no matter what. I never wanted to get divorced. We talked about this with our friends the other day. I never wanted to get divorced. I was kicking and screaming. We didn't even have a divorce face to face. It was ridiculous. So we got married again in 2010, I'm going to say. April 11th, 2010. And that was the 5th time for me. But the funny thing is that we married each other 3 times. And I was my husband's 3rd wife when he married me. Right. So I'm very excited about getting married to him. I would marry him all over again. And when you know the expression, till death do you part,
right.
Well, imagine him saying that to me, until death do you part, because we're not going through this again. So we
somebody might die if you have to go through it again.
It's a Sicilian thing. And he looked at me and said, this is the way it's going to go for us. And we both said, like, we're not. Yes, absolutely. We agreed to that. So I am very excited about that. And I'm excited each and every time to find that there is a very big part of our life, which is forgiveness. And I never learned forgiveness the way I learned case of knowing that no matter what, this is where I needed to be. And he, to me, not like I'm not the only one, we needed to learn to forgive ourselves. Right. And the excitement of being able to step into something where some people might say, again, or, you know, what was, I totally knew that I always would feel the same way about him. And my mother always said to me that she totally loved him. And when I had that type of memory, and every time we had a chance to think about our life together, it was, and it always still is, an exciting life. But there was a little piece that I couldn't really figure out. I had a hard time seeing our future, and I'm pretty good when it comes to that. Right. And that's because there must have, you know, I was recognizing that there was split in our time together. And that's
Right.
what was staring me in the face, that there was an interruption. So I am very excited to get married. I'm excited to be married. I'm excited to learn how to stay married because I know that I can be challenging. And I usually start with, I know that I'm going to be a pain about this, but, and we say to each other, we agreed. And so there is no going back on that. But
right.
Yes.
Because you said you would.
Because I said, and we stick to our word. And
Right.
let me ask you, because being Sicilian, which is, part of this whole thing that you and I really relate to.
Simpatico.
Exactly. We get it. When we talk about family dinner, we don't even have to have been in the same room together.
You know exactly what it looks like, sounds like, feels like.
Yes. Yeah, we could just sit at each other's table and never actually be there. So let me ask you, Dr. Energy, what do you think of when we talk about excitement?
Creation. Creating new projects, creating not so much new projects, but creating new ways of delivering information, of sharing information, sharing wisdom, sharing knowledge with people. As we've talked about in the past, I'm a chiropractor, so I see patients on a regular basis in the office as well. And I get excited when not only when new people come in, that's really exciting, but when I'm able to help somebody make a new connection in their life, just simply by helping them reframe or shift their perspective about something that's going on in their life. And that gets me excited because I see the light go on in their eyes, and that gets me more fired up, more excited as well. And it usually ends with a high five, and then with me, bending my knees almost like in a semi-squat position, kind of stage whispering, guess what? There's more. And then they laugh, because that's my favorite saying, guess what? There's more, right? But no matter how much we know, how much we do, how much we accomplish, there's always something more.
Yes.
And so that's what gets me excited, is the something more.
And I can attest to your level of commitment as the testimonial, because I remember when we were in your office 3 times a week. That was life-changing for us. When we were not there 3 times a week.
Right.
Yes, we were totally under your care. And I have to say, now that you're over there and we're over here, that's not fun.
Right.
But, it is a testament to your level of commitment to your patients and the excitement and what you bring into your practice and what you creating it with people. It's an energy that I have never felt before. Hence, Dr. Energy, for so many reasons. For our audience who's wondering, what's a Dr. Energy?
What's a Dr. Energy?
It's you. It's you raising the vibration. It's you being you wherever you are. And it's you giving all of yourself so energetically to those around you and to our audience when they hear you and they hear your voice, which, by the way, sounds really great. I'm excited about the way your voice sounds.
Well, it's funny you say that. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the testimonial. And it's interesting, actually. Dr. Tony, who I practice with, and I were meeting with a marketing and communication person today. And as we were sharing our vision for the practice and for our Align days, you may remember them as being called Clear Days. So it's a special event day that we do in the office. And as we shared the vision and why we do what we do, she got even more excited as well. She goes, now I really understand what's going on and where you're coming from and what you're trying to accomplish. And it was really fun to see the light go on in their eyes and feel how much it lifted their vibration, their energy, to feel like, yes, I'm a part of this. I'm going to help contribute to this, changing the world, to helping heal the world. And that was a lot of fun.
Because you bring people in like the Sicilians do.
I got an offer you can't refuse.
You bring them into that circle, and when they get in that circle, they don't want to go anywhere else.
Well, once you're in, you're always in. You're never out.
That's it. You're in for life.
Yeah. And then, as far as the voice goes, I've been having the last week or so, I got a little bit overtired. So my voice is probably reflecting that a little bit. But also, I find that as I get more comfortable, and comfortable is not even the right word, but as I know who I am more and more, that becomes more and more reflected in my voice as well, and how I speak, and from where in my body that truth is coming from. So versus if I'm talking up higher here, it's up in my head, but if I'm really down in my body, then the real rootedness, it's coming from that deeper place in my body, and my voice comes out sounding like this. So I think it's a combination of all of those things.
That makes sense, because you are being you. Now I'd like to discuss our Be You final moment with our audience. And Dr. Energy, this is a really fun segment.
Yes.
Part for us, because we get to relive our episode. We also get to think about it like in real time, real quick. I love that we get to do that real fast and take it right back to the moment. So I'd like to know if you can come up with real quick, what is your Be You final moment for tonight on excitement?
Okay, so I'd like to go last tonight. So I'm going to ask you what your Be You final moment is for this episode first.
Thank you. Okay, and I can go right to it. When we shared the moment in Salt Lake City, when you were sitting in the front row and I was walking up, I remember thinking, I so wanted you to be in the front row so that you would see everything that was going to happen. And I didn't know that it was going to be me. And my takeaway is follow your gut instincts, because just when you think you've got something good, it gets better. Who would have thought that we would have this moment to discuss because of that moment? And I believe that if I didn't want you to sit in that front seat, we might have sat together 5 or 6 rows back.
Right.
Maybe nothing would have changed, except for me, it was to have you sit there to see something really wonderful. So my takeaway is follow your instincts, because they're never wrong.
I like that.
Thank you. And let me ask you now, because after me, by process of elimination, you, what is your Be You final moment from this episode of excitement?
So for me, the whole thread running through this episode of excitement is that how we can use that energy of excitement, one, to create something new, to be able to get the creative process going. It's almost like the jet fuel or the rocket fuel that starts the launch of the rocket off the launching pad. And then we start to go, and then as we go higher and higher, we eject, with a booster rocket, and now we're going on the momentum that we built up right at the beginning. But we need that really huge amount of energy, of excitement right at the beginning to really launch us. And then once we get moving, right, so we break that inertia, that standing still part, that energy comes and really launches us, and that momentum then keeps us going. And then as we go through the process, we continually reconnect with why we're doing it and refueling that excitement and that energy to keep the project, to keep the movement going. So that's my takeaway, is how the excitement can help us be more of who we are and deliver what we are wanting to deliver, have the impact that we want to have in the world.
Nothing like having 3,000 people excited around us to have the moment forever.
Exactly.
That's great. I'm so happy that we could reference these points so quickly, because they are really instilled in us, and they're part of us and who we are and how we create things and created what we have right now. That it's very exciting to me to know that not only did we do it once, but we did it twice, that we keep doing it over and over again. We keep finding these moments, and they're attracted to us, and in abundance, we have these points of reference that allow us to grow. And as you always say, you love to see the greatness in others, and that's what we're able to do with our Be You moments in this podcast.
And I like what you said there, how we not did it once, but we did it twice, and we're about to do it a third time, I think. Wasn't there a Britney Spears song, "Whoops, I Did It Again"?
That's it. You're absolutely right.
How's that for an earworm?
Love that. On that note, I think you've said it all, Dr. Energy.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. Sharing is caring. Tell your friends about conversations worth having on BU Network. We really appreciate your reviews, and you can do that on Apple Podcast. Thank you.
For show notes and links, go to www.b-u.network/podcasts. Connect with us via our website, www.b-u.network, and build a relationship with us. Sign up to receive information, updates, and your free video training at www.b-u.network/pro.
We're looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you for being with us. Ciao.
Ciao, babies.